Welcome to Resilient Minds 365, where we discuss the resilient stories of entrepreneurs, professionals, and students with mental illnesses to encourage you to strive, thrive, and live in abundance. I'm your host, Cleoni Crawford. Welcome to Resilient Minds 365. I'm your host, Cleoni Crawford. Today, everyone, we have a special guest with us. We have Safiya Gyasi with us. And Safiya is a multimedia artist with over 10 years experience creating and performing through various mediums, including storytelling, filmmaking, fiberwork, steel and ceramic sculpture, and printmaking. She's a multi-talented and multi-dimensional creative director with proven skills in event planning, project management, invoking Afrofuturism to create healing experiences for communities. She was recently a part of the ADA 30 lead on social media team and the NDEAM, National Disability Employment Awareness Month. She also organized the panel for the ADA 30 NDEAM celebration wrap-up show. With that said, I now present to you Safiya.
Hi.
Hi, thank you very much for being a guest on our show. So first, tell us more about what you do, what you're currently doing, and yeah, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Okay, cool. So right now I'm in the midst of building my brand for my business, which is Black Girl Fire. It's Black Girl Fire been like a project I've been working on while I was at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, also known as SAIC. And it first started out as something that I used to help me live a comfortable and successful life while having a traumatic brain injury. Because I have some other diagnoses along with traumatic brain injury, along with TBI, like ADHD, PTSD, lupus, and explosive rage disorder. So it's like a lot. And I know one thing for me is like being on medication, it really kept me stuck. So through my journey, I was looking for ways that can help me so I wouldn't have to be on medication.
Right.
And like, cause art is such like a powerful healing tool. Like art is kind of like I use my art as like a art therapy for myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So I guess you mentioned that you have TBI. So tell us a little bit more about your mental health diagnosis and when were you diagnosed?
Okay, so on November 18th of 2004, I was coming home from an after school program, and like I got off the bus, I had the light to cross the street, and a lady, she ran the red light, and I flew up in the air, and I flew from 101st to 103rd in Halsted. And yeah, I had some severe injuries to my body, like severe damage to the right side of my brain, a fractured collarbone, a collapsed lung, a cracked spleen. Both my pelvis and tailbone was fractured, and my right leg was fractured. And so from there, I was in a coma for 2 months. So, so this happened. I was around the age of 13.
Mm-hmm.
So and from there I was diagnosed with like traumatic brain injury, and the other diagnosis came later on as I started recovering, waking up from the coma.
Okay, I see. And what were the other diagnoses? You mentioned PTSD that came later.
Yeah, well, I think Black people, we all have PTSD, and especially being a woman, sexual trauma that come along with it. But I think the accident added more to it, because there have been times when I cross the street, I just walk out, or I be this close to getting hit by a car, then I freeze. So just
Mhm.
like the a feeling or the image of me getting hit by a car, sometimes that like that keep me frozen, or I have the light to walk across the street and I will not go. Like it keeps me stuck sometimes.
Yes, that's definitely understandable. I mean, after being hit the way you were hit, I can only imagine how much that must have affected you. Definitely.
Yeah. And then the ADHD had came into play uh like a few months after, because I had to take a IEP, also known as the Education Individual Plan, to
Mm-hmm.
help me get back in school. And from taking that test, they noticed that I showed signs of having ADHD. And then later on, when I got in high school, I noticed like my hands was like freezing out in the cold, and they found out that I had Reynard syndrome, and they also found traces of lupus in my blood cell. So, so like later on, different paths, like things came into play.
Right. And you said Reynard syndrome? What is that?
So it's when like it get cold, like your veins will like close up and stop the blood from running to your fingertips or your toes and
Hmm.
your hands, and it get frozen. It look like it's dead, it turned purple and blue like a dead person,
Oh my
and it
God.
can be real painful. And I know Raynaud syndrome is a symptom of lupus, and then so that's why they started doing the lupus test to see if I had it. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So tell us your mental health story of resilience. What happened, and how you were able to overcome and to be resilient despite it all.
Yeah. Well, I have like a lot of different stories because dealing with like TBI for 16 years, the ups and downs and emotional roller coaster is real. But the biggest one that I had right before I got accepted into SIC, I was in a 6 month deep depression. Like I couldn't do nothing else but watch TV. And I remember going to the bathroom, and I don't know if I was eating regularly. And I know like it ended with me like I cut off all my hair. But the one thing that helped me to come out of that is receiving news that I was accepted to SIC. And while I was in that 6 month deep depression, I and another thing that helped me is like I always told myself, like, there got to be more to life than feeling stuck and feeling like I won't be able to do nothing for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because sustaining like a TBI from a young age, like I've been in a wheelchair while with a walker, crutches, all that stuff, and always having to depend on somebody, because I have a very independent spirit, and I had to learn how to do everything all over again. And and seeing that it take me longer to do things than other people, it was very frustrating. And then having to depend on people is something that I didn't want it. And it kind of like with some of the challenges that I have, because I'm real sensitive to sound and smells and stuff, because it can trigger me, because I also have silent seizures. And just knowing that like part of my family like like disability and mental health not talked about a lot in the Black community, but it's now being talked about. But not feeling like people fully understand and feeling like I'm a burden to people. So
Mm-hmm.
that actually brought on some of that stuff of like, what am I going to do to get my independence? And getting accepted into art school had gave me an outlet of where I can use my creative expression to help me build a successful, sustainable future for myself.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So, what did you have to do to overcome or bounce back from your lowest points? List all the resources that were applicable.
Oh, okay. And I was also like back in 2012, another example, like my granny had passed away, and this is and it really took a big effect on me. And that's when my silent seizure, I had a real bad silent seizure, and I was placed in a psych ward, and I was given some type of medication where it caused me to stop having thoughts for 2 years. And that's when I lost faith in the medical industry. And then so I started thinking about what can I do to help myself. So for about like 3 or 4 years now, I've been doing healing practices, a healing ritual where I start with like cleansing my chakras. Like I say affirmation over each chakra.
Mm-hmm.
I say like my word that I live by is magical, and I dance around with that word. And then I have a vision board of everything I want to come to existence, and then I say that, and I exercise, and then I go and like I start meditate, and like I meditate with like crystals. I like emeralds and rose quartz and pirates. So like I really, because especially emeralds, they have a lot of healing properties.
Mm-hmm.
Like they help clean toxins out of the body. They good for the digestive system. They good to ease your muscles and stuff. And they good for like mental fogs to clear to clear out your mind. So like I use that to hold on like when I'm feeling pain or when I just need to meditate. So
Mm-hmm.
I just hold on that till I feel better.
Cool. Cool. Okay. So, what are three things you wish you had available when you were at your lowest point?
Three, um, I wish, hmm, I wish one thing that like I had more of a support system
Mm-hmm.
that like my family was I know because my mom, she's been like a big support, but like my other family members, like they did what they could understand. But when I got out of a wheelchair, my disability turned into an invisible disability. And it's kind of like, okay, their thing was like, okay, you're not in a wheelchair, so you must be fine, and not understand like the challenges that come with having TBI.
Right.
So another thing, like I wish like there was more when I was early on going through, there was more knowledge or more resources about disability and mental health in the Black community.
Right.
Um, if there was like event spaces where people can talk freely about their mental health challenges, and and yeah, and like art spaces where like you can create art.
Okay. Cool. That makes sense. That makes sense. Having those spaces available so that we can express ourselves and learn more about mental health is definitely very helpful. Um, my next question is so, what words of hope can you give to our listeners?
I would tell people like healing from trauma, living with like mental health challenges or having like a disability. It's 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 something that you just don't get over, but it's something that you got to learn to live through to create like a healthy relationship with.
Hmm.
And like I tell people, healing is not an overnight process. It takes it takes small steps in order to get to that place where you in a good space to start feeling good about yourself, where you have good understanding of yourself and what you're going through. So I would just tell people to like every time you find yourself in a space where you're feeling stuck, always take the time out to reflect and realize what you're going with and come up with ways of what you can do to help you create a better healing process for you or create a better healing environment for yourself.
Right, right, right. So I understand that you're into art. That art is a very big part of your your platform. How do you use that with to keep your mental health in a safe place, in a healthy place? What do you do? How do you use art to yeah to keep to maintain your mental health? That's the question.
Yeah. So I came up with a term because like the word artist I think is so overrated. I like to call myself a self-expressionist.
Okay.
And I see art as a tool or a method for me to release all the things that I'm experiencing. Like when I paint, like or when I create art, I like to put my whole body into the process. Like when I throw paint, I like it's a dance,
Mm-hmm.
like it's a performance of what like I what I'm experiencing in that moment. Cause I kind of came up with the term self-expressionist because I work on like doing art and then you create stuff. So how to create something and I follow states and the stuff won't work out. So I just like take it apart and just do whatever I feel and I just saw the measure of that and I see myself as a self-expressionist and also understanding that I'm disrupting the norm and creating something new.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. So with that said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch over to another form of questions. So here we're going to talk about, as you can see behind me, there's a book that's called The Music of My Life. And that's basically a book about music therapy and my journey with bipolar. So with that said, what type of music do you like?
Oh, okay. Well, I like a lot of different. It's hard for me to choose. I like music that speaks to my soul. But
Yeah.
I know one good song that I'm really liking. It's a song by Willow Smith and another chick. It's called Born to Give. And
Mhm.
it's kind of like they took inspirations from like the Indian culture and made like a meditation music with it. So I really enjoyed that, especially for like where I'm at like right now of just like coming to peace because 2020 has been a very challenging year and I know I overworked myself and now I'm coming to a place where I just want to relax and knowing that all that I did it was the best that I had to give and my
Mhm.
best will continue to get better with as time comes.
Right, right, right. So with music, what would you say that music what does music do for you when you listen to it? What does it do for you?
It is music is so I love music. It put me in a zone because like there's different type of songs for whatever you're going through in a period of life and so there's a song for you to listen to help you to release those emotions and I just see music as a release tool for
Mm-hmm.
you to just like just to sit in your emotions whether it's happy or sad or mad whatever it is for
Mm-hmm.
you to just to sit in it and just feel it. And music give us a soundtrack for our emotions.
Yes, I like that. I like that. Definitely, definitely. So, with that said, how can we stay in touch with you?
Oh well, yeah, okay. So you can follow me at Black Girls on Instagram or Black Girl Fire on YouTube or Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, so Black Girl Fire, if you use Black Girl Fire or Black Girls on social media, you can find me.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so very much, Safiya, for doing this interview. I truly appreciate it. With that said, we are going to end. And to all you resilient minds out there, until next time, please subscribe to us on all our platforms and don't forget to rate the show and leave a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Also, join the community of resilient minds and sign up for our monthly newsletter at cleonicrawford.com. Be sure to grab a copy of my book, The Music of My Life, on all Amazon marketplaces to get to know me better. And if you can think of one person that will receive value from today's show or connect with Safiya's testimonial, please share it with them. Feel free to take a screenshot of this week's episode of the podcast and tag us on Instagram. You can tag myself at Only Cleoni or Resilient Minds 365 and today's guest at Black_girls. Black is spelled with a Q and girls is spelled with a Z. Also, and remember, mental health is not a death sentence. Despite your illness, you can strive, thrive, and live in abundance. Until next time, I'm Cleoni Crawford, and I'm signing off.